welcome back to segment 4. This segment brought to you by Metrogistics, vehicle transportation solutions delivered. If you need to ship a car, go to metrogistics.com. I'm going to spell it for you. M-E-T-R-O. Gistics is G-I-S-T-I-C-S. Metrogistics.com. They'll take care of all your car transportation needs if you're moving a load or just a single unit. I do want to talk a little MMA locally here. We've got some big things happening. You guys, as far as the local fight scene, Shamrock Fighting Championships does not have anything going on until October 12th. You guys will have a fight in Kansas City, but locally here in St. Louis, the October 12th is what it's going to be happening. Lumiere Casino, great venue, and I can't stress this enough. It's never too early to get the tickets.
No, tickets actually sold out last time 2 weeks in advance. Guys, listen, go get your tickets on Ticketmaster.com or ShamrockFC.com. We just locally signed with Kevin Ingle to the main event on October the 12th, and next week we're going to be talking about who his opponent will be.
That'll be an outstanding fight, the Hitman. And of course, Adam Sella. We've been talking about the Ultimate Fighter reality television show. We've, I think, touched on Uriah Hall. We've even touched on Kelvin. Adam Sella, St. Louis's own, is going to be fighting on November 1st, inching ever closer to getting back into the UFC, I'd have to say.
Yes, he'll be fighting on November the 1st, and he'll also be fighting December the 7th back here in St. Louis at the River City Casino.
So you got October 12th, November 1st, and then December 7th, Shamrock Fighting Championships. So only 3 more times this year can you see a Shamrock fight. If you haven't seen them, they're great. I call them the Memphis Redbirds. If you want to see tomorrow's stars today, it's happening at a Shamrock Fighting Championships venue, Lumiere Casino, and are the other 2 at Lumiere as well?
December 7th will be at River City Casino.
Another great venue. I have not been there yet, but I've heard nothing but great things. I do want to get to some fan questions. We have some great questions from the fans. We're going to start with Ryan. How long will it be before we see the UFC make a trip to St. Louis? Ooh, good job, Ryan.
I think
tied that one right in there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little. It's going to be a little time because they've had some with the Gaming Commission and the UFC have had some issues in the past, and I think that until those guys get over everything, it's going to be a little bit before we see the UFC back in St. Louis, or in St. Louis, not back in St. Louis, in St. Louis, or in the state of Missouri, I should say.
You know something.
I can't say everything.
He does know something.
No.
There's something that's not like adding up. I mean, they're coming to Milwaukee and Indiana, Indianapolis, all these.
I mean, that's this.
They were in Chicago.
They'll be here sooner or later.
And I'm going to wage a little war. Kansas City or St. Louis a better
St.
fight?
Louis.
So you think
absolutely
if it comes, it'll come to St. Louis?
Hey, they've always been our stepbrother. Come on.
Scott asks, which fighter do you think is most overlooked at this point?
Overlooked. I thought you were going to say overrated. But
no,
I was going to say,
who is someone who's under the radar that maybe someone,
That's a really good question. Someone that is overlooked at this point.
You know who I like is that Court McGee. I don't know where he said. I think he's pretty tough.
Wow, someone that's overlooked. I think that the most overlooked fighter right now at the 170-pound division is Robbie Lawler.
I was going to say that.
After his last 2 performances, I got to tell you something, man. He just knocked out Josh Koscheck and knocked out Bobby Volker. Neither one of those 2 are getting knocked out. So I got to tell you something. The most overlooked fighter as of right now is probably Robbie Lawler.
Do you think since he came up so...
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Who's the most overrated so far?
Ooh, overrated. Definitely Uriah Hall.
That's who I popped in. When I first read that question, I thought it was going to say overrated. You were going to go with Uriah
Hall. You could definitely say that. Boy, Overeem seems to be overrated, lately. I mean, you can...
Overroyd.
Yeah, he's having trouble bouncing back without the... but yeah, most overlooked. There are a lot of good... I think Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
I would like to see him. And there's just a lot of people out there. And overrated, would you say Chris Wyman's overrated?
No, I don't think he's. I think he's actually underrated.
You think he's
underrated?
You think he's overlooked for being a champion?
That's a great one right there. He might be the most overlooked.
Yeah,
definitely the most overlooked champion right now.
Oh, absolutely. I just think that, I hate to. I'm probably guilty of it. I think Anderson Silva's gonna get it back. And I mean, and I think
Ooh, I know your choice.
And I think a lot.
I know your pick.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people feel the same way. And I think yes, in a way, he's overlooked, which is strange to say for a guy who just knocked out.
That's a fight that was going in the wrong direction for Chris Weidman when he got
when he got the knockout.
Now
Absolutely.
that's an interesting one you say that because I right here as I sit right here, I can't tell you who I'm going to pick on the next one between Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. And I really wholeheartedly say that is because if you looked at the fight, Chris Weidman was dominating, winning the fight, and then as he started to fade a little bit is when he knocked Anderson Silva out. So who's to say? I actually think that now I think about this that Chris Weidman will actually be a little bit more composed because he's never been that much of a spotlight. No matter what you say, the nerves had to give it a little bit. So I think that, we'll see. That's an interesting time.
Time will tell. Time will tell. And absolutely, I'm going to actually skip over Justin's. I'm going to Sam here. Does Alexander Gustafsson stand a chance against John Jones at UFC 165?
Everybody has a chance in mixed martial arts. You're wearing 4-ounce gloves.
Everyone does.
That's the first thing I always say. John Jones, I think, is the best pound-for-pound fighter out there right now in the world. But I tell you something. Do I think he has a chance? Gustafsson is a very underrated guy. Okay, not a lot of people know who he is. He's a very talented guy. But I don't think that his jiu-jitsu is better than John Jones. Stand-up, nope. Wrestling, nope. And I just told you in the last segment, which is the most dominating sport out there, aspect of mixed martial arts, and it's wrestling. So do I think that he has a chance? Yes, he has a chance. Do I think he'll win? No, I do not.
Okay, interesting. And finally, Justin, he wants to get into MMA, and he says, what's the best way for me to start? And this is something that we have tackled in the past. And
sure.
But yeah, let them know. I mean, this is always
do your research.
Information.
This is what I say is, you know what, do your research. Check out some gyms. You know what? Make sure you're going to the right gyms that are clean, and you know what? You're going to feel safe at, and which you're going to feel a part of. You know what, Justin? You come down and you go to Finney'sMMA.com. Little plug here. I'll give you a 7 days free to check it out and see if it's something for you. I don't know your age. Only thing I can tell you is make sure you get around some positive role models, not some negative role models, and do the right things and do your homework.
And Justin, I would just say locally, if you're just looking to do it, like he said, do your homework. If you're just looking to do it to lose weight, get in shape, do something.
Absolutely.
If you really want to get into the octagon, get into the cage, I would go to some fights. I would go to the Shamrock Fighting Championship fights at Lumiere. I'd spend a little money. I'd look around. I'm sure they're on the internet. You can find it anywhere. Go to and see the kind of product that they're putting out as well.
Right.
And I think that you could sit and you'll have a great time doing it. You make a
Absolutely.
night of it. Go. Watch the fights, kind of see who what trainers you like, and you could talk to people there.
Absolutely.
And they will definitely push you in a right direction. As far as having a background, we'll say Justin doesn't have any sort of background. Is there any requirements?
No, zero requirements. I tell you this is, get into it where, with expectations that you want to get in shape, have some fun with it. I tell everybody that. Have fun. Go to a place that's reputable. I own 2 places here locally in St. Louis. I've got Finney'sMMA.com, and I got The Hit Squad in Illinois. I tell you what, come over and just try to enjoy it and make sure you're having fun with it and you're around positive people because you know what? The guy said this to me a long time ago. He says, you want me to show you your future? He said, yeah. He said, show me your friends. You know what? If you're going to hang out with a bunch of bags, then that's what you're going to be. If you're going to hang out with some positive, good people, and you know what? The good things are going to happen to you in life. Absolutely.
Well, that's a good advice, way to get a start there. It's interesting things. Anything else in closing you'd like to touch on, whether it's giving someone advice on MMA fighting or kind of any fights that are on the horizon that you're looking for?
I'd say Anthony Pettis, we're trying to get on the show next week. Trying to get Anthony Pettis on. He's fighting Vincent Henderson for the world title. That's an interesting fight. I don't know if this is the fight where Anthony Pettis jumped off the cage, kicked him in the face. That's a good fight coming up August 31st. And you know what? Midwest, man, they're coming. UFC will be here sooner than later.
I tell you what, that weight class is really becoming one of my favorites to watch.
Too bad we can't see the best 155 in the world and Michael Chandler fighting it though.
And maybe that's due to come. Well, that's it for our show. We appreciate you watching. Thanks for joining us here on 101sports.com.